Sadashivasamārambhāṃ Shankarācārya-madhyamāṃ Asmadācārya-paryantāṃ Vande Guruparamparaṃ Tvameva mātā ca pitā tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakā tvameva Tvameva vidyādravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om namo brahmadibhyo brahma vidya sampradaya kartrubhyo vamsarishibhyo mahadbhyo namo gurubhyah sarvopaplavarahita prajnana ganaha pratyagarto brahmaivahamasmi. Om. Okay. Last session, as I said, these are some of the basic tenets that I want to actually share. This can help you to get some foundation around Vedanta. And also this will help us in case we are actually feeling that we are not having that enough shraddha, or sometimes we are feeling guilty, or sometimes we are feeling confused, or sometimes we have this doubt whether we are in the right path or not. Then these tenets would help us to understand where we stand. So the first one, as I said, is Vedanta is a Pramāṇa. Shāstras is our Pramāṇa. It's a means. It's a means of knowing who am I. And this is the Pramāṇa. As much as I is a Pramāṇa for knowing what is the color and what is the form, Shāstras are our Pramāṇas for knowing who we are. We cannot get science to validate Shāstras. Just like we cannot get ears to validate what the eyes see. So this is the first point. Yes, Venuguji.
See, this is one of the points that I wanted to bring up in the section that when I get to speak, I don't know whether you would like me to respond in the end after you finish this discussion, or you would like to bring this up now. I do not know how you want to structure it.
Maybe what I will do is we'll go through everything, and then we can, you please make a note, and then we can always discuss.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. The second point that I mentioned about is what Vedanta addresses us is the problem of self-ignorance. Self-ignorance, that ignorance about self is the cause for my sorrow, is something we are ignorant about. We don't even know what is the cause for our sorrow. The cause for our sorrow is the ignorance of the self. That if we have clear understanding, then we can actually understand that all the fear, the insecurity, the inadequacy, the cravings, the desires, all these come out of this ignorance. And what we think we are what is the wrong conclusion that we have made? We have wrongly concluded that we are the body and mind. But what we actually are is the consciousness principle, because of which this body and mind are known and are evident. We are the existence principle, the consciousness principle, the bliss principle. Sat Chit Ananda. So the thoughts come and go. We are not the thoughts. This we have to be aware. Every time a thought that comes through, a negative thought, then what we have to do is we have to try to distance ourselves from the thought. To say that this is the thought of the mind, and that I am the pure consciousness. I cannot be dirtied by this thought, so to speak. And so therefore we have to keep reminding ourselves that we are the witness principle. The third one is I said, Brahman or Ātma are one and the same. That I am that in the if I take away the upadhis of my body and mind, and if I take away the Ishvara's upadhis of this prapancha, then me and Ishvara are one and the same. Just like the wave and the ocean are nothing but water. This, to reach that stage, is going to take some time. So we'll see how we can get there, or what should we do to get there. The fourth one we discussed was that the world jagat is mithyā. Mithyā means it's a dependent reality. It has got a transactional reality. It is called as vyavaharika satyam. There are three types of realities that we face. One, the waking stage, that's called as vyavaharika satyam. Then in the dream state, that has got a limited reality. There is a limited reality to it. During the dream, everything that I see in the dream is real or seems real. And that is called as pratibhasika satyam. As we live in the waking stage, this has got also a limited reality, and that is called as vyavaharika satyam. And then, of course, there is called something called absolute reality. Absolute reality is called as paramarthika satyam, and that is where we understand that I am Brahman. Now, from the dream to come to from the pratibhasika satyam to vyavaharika satyam, I need to just wake up, and then I'm out of that. I'm into this satyam. I'm into one order of reality. From one order of reality, I get into another order of reality. But from the waking stage to go to the paramarthika satyam, there is nothing called I have to wake up from some other place and then I end up in the paramarthika satyam. No, that is not how it works. What I have to do is to, once I get this knowledge, I can understand the paramarthika satyam whilst dealing with vyavaharika satyam. So it is like almost like I am both awake as well as in the dream, so to speak. That kind of a stage. Remember, this world has got mithyā, as in the world is actually, when we go to the paramarthika satyam, we understand that the world is nothing but a superimposition on Brahman. It is just like a movie that is fully experienced. Now, when we are watching a movie on the screen, we are able to be with the characters of the movie. We laugh with them. We cry with them. We are able to feel the fear. We are able to feel the anger. Everything we are able to feel, and it seems so real at that point of time. But then we also know that it is all played on a screen. Now the screen is the reality. The movie is just a superimposition on the screen. So similarly, the world has been superimposed on Brahman. Brahman is the reality. This is the fourth point that we need to understand. Now the fifth point, important point, spiritual growth does not happen overnight. It is a step-by-step process. And to get to jnana, there are preparatory steps that one must do. Nobody can jump to jnana immediately and say, okay, I'm actually now listening to this Vedanta lecture, this Upanishad. The Upanishad says that you are that Brahman. Now I get my knowledge. I get my jnana. I am now a jnani and therefore I am a mukta purusha. No, that doesn't happen. For that to happen, the mind must be ready. So for the mind must be ready, the scriptures give us steps to go through. The first one is karma yoga. Karma yoga is basically, if I have to summarize karma yoga in one phrase, it is a right attitude that one must have during action. The attitude is what defines whether it is a karma or a karma yoga. And what is the benefit of that? It purifies the mind. That is the first step. So before I come to jnana, the first step I have to do is karma yoga. The second step is upasana or meditation. It is for making the mind steady. The mind keeps wavering. It is not able to place itself on one particular object or a principle for beyond a few seconds. But what is required is for us to actually place the mind steadily on one particular object or thing or Ishvara or Ātma Swarupa or whatever. So to make the mind steady, upasana or meditation is necessary. Then the third is knowledge, where we listen, we reflect. And what is the benefit of jnana there is it removes sorrow. The moment we know that I am the Shuddha Chaitanya Ātma, aham akarta bhokta, nityaha sarvagataha, I understand all these things, then there is no question of sorrow, there is no question of craving, there is no question of fear, there is no question of anger, no jealousy, no pride. So this is the knowledge. Then once I get the knowledge, I have to assimilate it. I have to live that vision, live by that vision. And by assimilating that, what happens is, I continue to stay at bliss. Continue to stay in bliss at all times. I am Ananda Swarupa. There is Krita Kritagnyasa, Bhagavan says, basically I have done whatever I have to do. There is nothing more to achieve for me. I don't have this feeling that I have not done this in my life. There is no question of being, feeling that sense of incompleteness. So how do we understand? So jnana doesn't come overnight. We'll have to do preparatory steps. It is just like we cannot satisfy hunger the moment the hunger pangs come, right? What we have to do? First we need to prepare the food. And then only we can eat. Just by preparing food, my hunger cannot be satisfied. Similarly, I cannot eat food unless the food is prepared. Or rather, I cannot satisfy my hunger unless the food is prepared. So preparation is first, knowledge is later. And typically, preparation of food takes about 45 minutes. Eating takes about 10 minutes. The same way, preparation of the mind takes a longer time. Then assimilation or getting that jnana is much shorter. This is the fifth point. So the sixth point is, Karma Yoga is the foundation. Now I'm going to give very short Karma Yoga pointers, all very important points. One, first of all, what defines Karma Yoga? One, offering. Two, acceptance. Whatever I offer or whatever action I do, I offer it to Bhagavan. So which means what? When I say I offer it to Bhagavan, every action that I do it with utmost sincerity. Because I am doing it for Bhagavan, I will do it with utmost sincerity. And I will put my fullest effort on it. So that is one, offering. Second one is acceptance. When we say acceptance, whatever comes, I receive it as Ishvara Prasada. When I say Ishvara Prasada, how do I take a Prasada? Every result that comes, what is the result? Whatever I have gone through, whatever experience I have, whether it has been self-created or created by anybody else, whatever I go through in this life, I accept it with utmost reverence and with a cheerful spirit. Okay, Bhagavan has given me this. So, I refuse to take guilt. I refuse to find fault. I just accept it as Ishvara Prasada. This is Karma Yoga. This is one way to understand Karma Yoga. Another way to understand Karma Yoga is convert life into a life of contribution, not consumption. So there are three things. Convert life into consumption, not contribution. Convert life into a sacrifice, not grab from others. Convert your life into a reverential life, not materialistic life. Which means what? Every action I have to offer it to Bhagavan. So I have to be I have to make sure that I do the right action, because I have to offer it to Bhagavan. And what is that? And when I say offering, acceptance, a simple example. I'm waiting for a phone call, somebody doesn't call me back, or I'm waiting for somebody has not come on time. I do not get irritated. I do not get frustrated. I do not get angry. This is what Karma Yoga is about. So if we see everything that as Bhagavan's will, we take it. We need to do what needs to be done. It doesn't mean, for example, there could be questions like, if you are in the office, somebody does not work according to what they are supposed to do, will you accept it as it is? No, I will not accept it. Because my role is to ensure that I get the work done. So if they are not doing the work, I will have to get them to do the work, or give them the whatever. If I have to punish or if I have to reward, I do that, but without any kind of likes and dislikes there. I have to do my duty. Again, I am doing this work as an offering to Bhagavan, and therefore I am doing what I am supposed to do. As long as I don't bring my likes and dislikes into it and act according to what is being required for me to act, then there is no question of feeling of papa or punya also. So this, when we do it, it happens, what we get is chitta shuddhi. This is another way of defining Karma Yoga. So one is offering acceptance, second is converting the life into contribution, sacrifice and reverence, life of reverence. The other Karma Yoga, if I have to do 6 points, I will say. One is Panchamahayajna, contribute through Panchamahayajna. 2 is reduce your arrogance. Reduce your arrogance. How can I reduce arrogance? If I do Ishvara Arpana and Prasada Buddhi. If I take it as Prasada, then I don't think that it is me who had done it. I will take it as Ishvara giving me, not that I have done it. Again, similarly, if I do Ishvara Arpana, it is not that feeling that I have done it. It is for me, I am doing it. No, I am doing it for Ishvara. So it reduces arrogance. Third is enjoying the process. Because I am doing it for Ishvara, I will enjoy the process. Fourth, I do not expect gratitude, because again it is Ishvara Prasada. I am not doing it for anybody else. Fifth most important point, treat every experience as a lesson. Every experience, people behavior, people the way they talk, what I get, whether good or bad, use that to identify lesson and Ishvara in it. So Ishvara wants me to do this. Why did Ishvara want me to go through this? What is the lesson for me here? If I am able to understand that, I'll be able to accept things better. Finally, work is worship. Whatever work we have to convert that into worship. That is called as Karma Yoga. And for Karma Yoga, another way that I will say is, use AAA to get 5 C's. AAA is appreciate people, appreciate things around you, appreciate what is given to you. If you are not able to appreciate, accept it. This is what I have. I am accepting the life as given by Ishvara. If I am not able to accept it, adjust. So, appreciate, accept or adjust. And if we do that, we get 5 C's. In Singapore, there are 5 C's. That's a different, you can Google it later, 5 C's of Singapore. But here the 5 C's are cleanliness. Our mind will become clean, and our, the things around us, we try to keep it clean. Second, we become calm. We don't get flustered. We don't get angry. We don't get anxious. We don't get irritated. And as we do that, we become cheerful. What is cheerfulness? The first thing and foremost thing to get to cheerfulness is we have to not get angry, agitated, irritated, depressed. Then as we do that, we become more and more confident. And that confidence will result in being compassionate towards others. We become compassionate. So these are the 5 C's when we do Karma Yoga. This is the result we get. So that was the point number 6. That was on Karma Yoga. 7th point, Vairagya. Vairagya is not about running away from life. Vairagya is a healthy detachment. It is not running away, but being detached. Vairagya does not make you dull or isolated. Others may think that you are dull or isolated, but you yourself, you are not. If you have that Vairagya, you don't feel isolated, you don't feel dull. In fact, it will make you feel lighter. It will make you feel less demanding. And you will be happy, cheerful with what you have. How do you get Vairagya? By doing Karma Yoga. Or by act of Tyaga. Remember, Vairagya, to get Vairagya is the single most important qualification that a spiritual sadhana, forget a spiritual sadhana, for somebody to be happy, Vairagya will make the person very happy. In fact, in Taittiriya Upanishad, it will say that if a particular object in this world can give you X amount of happiness for you, for example, you have say Rasagulla or Gulab Jamun give you X amount of happiness, Vairagya on that same object will give you 100 times more happiness than what it can give you. So Vairagya in turn produces cheerfulness, happiness, contentment. And so Vairagya, for getting Vairagya, one must do some sadhana. It is not that I read about Vairagya, I will get Vairagya. I read about Viveka, I might get Viveka. But for Vairagya, I have to put in sadhanas. Vairagya is not about suppression. Suppression, one does not get Vairagya. Although, if we are heavily attached, heavily addicted, they start with suppression. They start with limited amounts of suppression. You have to do it, otherwise you will go back to the addiction and that. So they do that. For example, you have these drug rehabilitation centers and all. They put you in a place where you don't have access to drugs at all. That is a kind of suppression. Otherwise, you will not be able to come out of it. But generally speaking, Vairagya is not about suppression, but it is about understanding the limitations of what that particular object can give me in terms of happiness. Not seeking happiness from that object, not seeking pleasure from that object is Vairagya. I enjoy it. It doesn't mean that the person will not enjoy it. The person will enjoy it, but the person will not cling on to it. If it is there, it is there. If it is not there, it is still fine. So there is no condition that only if that person is with me, or if that object is with me, or if I am in that situation, or if I am in that environment, I will be happy. Then it becomes addiction, attachment. What is true detachment? How do I know when I have detached myself? I have less pressure. I have less dependency. I have more clarity. I am more kind. As in, because if I am attached, I expect the other person to behave in the manner that I want. Whereas if I am not attached, I have more kindness towards that person. The way they behave, I am willing to accept it. And therefore it gives a person more inner peace. And therefore there is no sadness, there is no isolation feeling. Feeling of being isolated will not be there. So this is vairagya. So 7 points. This is the 7th point we discussed. So 7th is vairagya, 6th is karma yoga. Now 8th is moksha is not an event. Moksha is recognition. Moksha is discovering what I am already am. Moksha is not, I don't need to become Brahman. I am always the Brahman. It is just that I am recognizing that I am that limitless self. What is moksha is like, some people have these glasses on their top of their head and they still search for their glasses around the house. The glass was always there on the head only. Similar to that, moksha is something that we already are, but we are not able to recognize. Once we recognize it, it removes two important things. It immediately removes fear. This is the removal of absolute fear. What one? Moksha. The relative fear, one of the biggest removers of fear is vairagya. If I have vairagya, I have less and less fear. What will happen? So, it's okay. So what? That kind of attitude will only come only when you have vairagya. And moksha will remove insecurity. Similarly, vairagya will have relative peace. You will be able to see that you're not insecure as much as you were before you got vairagya. Vairagya is not that it happens only once. We need to have vairagya on all objects, all relations, all people. But we'll have to go it slow. We cannot have vairagya on everything on the first day itself, or everything in one go. We'll have to slowly move forward. Now these are some of the concepts that we discussed about with regards to Vedanta. Now we will talk about the sadhanas, in terms of how we are progressing and others. The first thing that we have to understand is, in terms of spiritual progress, you are talking about genuine progress. The sign of a genuine progress is the signs are very easy to understand. They are very simple. And here when we say spiritual progress, it is not about how much I know about Bhagavad Gita, how much of technical terms I know. It is not about I know what is karma yoga, what is upasana yoga, what are the steps behind it, the technical step-by-step process of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. That is not what we are talking about in terms of spiritual progress. Spiritual progress means how much we are at peace. How much am I able to get sleep? How much am I able to be calm? And how do I measure that? First, again, I'll give you 6 points. First is less irritation, more equanimity. I don't get irritated by what I don't get or what I get. On the other hand, I am equanimous. If it happens, I'm good. If it doesn't happen, it's also fine. That's a sign of progress. Second, less judgment, more compassion. If somebody, I don't immediately judge on them, I'm more compassionate. Okay, probably they had some problem. Probably there was this one. Less judgment, more compassion. 3, less complaint, more cheerfulness. I don't complain. I am not getting this. I am not, that person is getting this. I'll be more cheerful with what I have. 4th, less careless, more responsible. I am a little more, because I am doing everything as karma yoga, I will do it with utmost reverence, utmost sincerity, with fullest effort, and therefore I will be less careless and I will be more responsible. 5th, I will be less demandful, more grateful. I will not demand, this is what I deserve. I don't claim that I deserve these things. I am less demandful. I am more grateful for what I have. This is sign of progress. This is sign of spiritual maturity. Finally, 6th one, I depend less on results. I'm more on action. I am not worried whether the outcome of what I did is beneficial materialistically to me, whether I got my name, whether I got my fame. I am less focused on results. I am more focused on the action and the attitude towards the action. So this is because if I believe in shastras, if I have this shraddha on shastras, I know the outcome is not based on the action alone. The outcome is based on thousands of factors. What determines the future outcome of all my actions is the attitude that I have now for this action, whether I'm getting papa or punya. That is going to determine the outcome of the actions in the future also. So this is how do we measure progress. These small shifts matter. Slowly I find myself less irritated. I feel less judgmental. I feel I'm complaining a little less than before. I am demanding a less than before. I am improving. I am there. Which means the path is right for me. Many people have this feeling that the spiritual person must look very, in a grave manner, in a very, very withdrawn, closed. Not necessarily. It depends on the sadhanas they are doing. But it is not a must. Spiritually, as you mature, we will see that we are more lighter, more cheerful, more available, more balanced. Joy is not opposed to spirituality. Only adharma is opposed to spirituality, not joy. So that was the 9th point. So we talked about progress, spiritual life and others. Now 10th point. Vedanta is lived here and Vedanta is lived in the mind. It is not in the Himalayas. Just because I run away to Himalayas, I will not get spiritually mature. We don't have to run away. We don't need to become unpopular also. We should not leave our duties. Vedanta can be practiced by everyone, by all grihasthas. After all, Bhagavan had taught this to Arjuna, who was in the midst of action, war. How can there be a more difficult situation than Arjuna than us? Arjuna's situation was far more grave. He had to kill his uncles and cousins and grandfather and others. We are not in that state. So if Bhagavan had said that even for you at that state, you can actually follow Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, you can understand Vedanta, this is nothing. So what it means is, in the midst of action, I can still follow Vedanta. It is like, even if the road is noisy everywhere, if the driver of the car, he can still drive the car safely, right? In the same way, even if the roads are difficult, a person who is pursuing this path will be able to do it. So we can live our worldly life and still be established in clarity. We know what is right, what is wrong, what should be our priority, what should not be our priority. We should have that clarity. We don't need to give up career. We don't need to give up family. We don't need to give up our duties. But what we need to give up? We need to give up that happiness lies outside. That somebody else is giving me happiness. That situation, that environment will give me happiness. That person will give me happiness. That object will give me happiness. That relationship will give me happiness. That wrong notion we'll have to remove. So Bhagavad Gita or Vedanta is about living where we are here. It's not about running away to Himalayas. The next point, 12th point, is not all changes need to be external. Some people think that, to grow spiritually, I must change my job. I must avoid all enjoyments and others. No. Change the attitude. We need not change the setup. There is no harm in eating a good meal. You go out, enjoy it, but understand the limitations and do not get angry or upset that you go there and you do not find the right thing on the menu, or the chef has actually did not do the dish properly. There is less salt in the food. Don't get irritated, or if there is a delay in service, don't get irritated, don't get angry. That is spirituality. Spirituality is not about not enjoying things, but spirituality is about not expecting about things. Inner shift is more important than outer rearrangement. So which comes to the point 13. Desire. Is desire the enemy? Desire is not the enemy, but binding desires are enemies. Bhagavan in one stage talks about controlling desires. In one stage he is also talking about removing desires. For us at this stage, it is not about removing desires. It only what Bhagavan says, or what Karma Yoga asks us to do, or what spirituality asks us to do at this stage, is don't let desires bind you. Don't depend on them for happiness. I have this desire, and if I get that desire fulfilled, only then I will be happy. I will refuse to be happy until I get that desire fulfilled. That is where the problem is. Early morning coffee, desire. Nice, okay. So you want a desire to have a coffee in the morning, fine. You desire for it, it's okay. Not getting the coffee, I should not get irritated. Getting the coffee cold, I should not be getting irritated. So that is the difference between desire and binding desire. Then comes, when we are practicing, point number 14, when we are practicing, there are stages where we feel that we are faltering. We do not want to get angry, but we get angry at times. We do not want to get irritated, but we get irritated. So the guilt comes in. So Shastra say guilt is never a spiritual quality. Why did I get angry? Why can't I meditate? Why am I falling spiritually? Now, asking the questions is important, and taking actions to rectify them is important. But blaming on that and getting the feeling of guilt, that is not what Gita encourages or Shastras encourage. They encourage correction. They encourage moving on. In any situation, life situation, if you see all the great leaders in the world are people who have been in a situation, is not to get stuck there, not to blame others or themselves for it, but trying to say, okay, we're here, what can be done next? How can we get out of it? What needs to be done next? Corrective measures need to be taken, let us take those measures. Same thing with spirituality. Okay, I've got angry. Okay, I have to know where I get angry so that I am able to correct myself. But now, I should not get angry. I should be able to come back to my mood, calmness immediately and move on. Spirituality is also like a child learning to walk. If you look at it, a child, even when we were small children, we probably would have fallen down hundreds and thousands of times before we learned to walk. But we did not, at that point of time, the child does not feel guilty. The child does not say that, okay, I've fallen down, I will not be able to walk henceforth in my life, and therefore I will not try at all. It doesn't do that. It continues to try and do it. Same thing with the spiritual Sādhaka. Every mistake, okay, I've fallen down, correct, go ahead. So this is 14th. Then 15th point, emotions will not disappear. It is not that we have mind. Mind is something that we have to be managing throughout. If we don't have a mind, there is nothing to feel about. There is nothing, we cannot even be conversing now. So as long as there is mind, there are emotions in the mind that is going to come in. We have to manage them. And a spiritual, just because somebody will say, you have been doing listening to Gita for so many years, how can you get angry? How can you get fear? How can you get jealousy? How can you get pride? Mind is there. The idea is we have to manage them. We have to become more aware. Oh, I'm getting angry. As I am getting angry itself, I should be aware that I am getting angry, not afterwards. So the sooner I am able to move this kind of awareness closer to the actual situation, rather than trying to identify it post-mortem, I am getting better at it. So I'm more aware of it. I'm less reactive. As in, I am not, my intensity is not high. And I am actually quick in recovery. That is how we will have to manage. In an ocean, even the ocean, there will be waves, there will be ripples. But it doesn't turn into a tsunami. Same thing. The mind will always have certain things, but we'll have to manage them. Emotions will come, but we should not get drowned with it. Then, spiritual growth, it may not be really visible It is not that because we are so close to ourselves, we may not even be aware that we are actually growing, changing. Others may be able to identify. If somebody says, oh, you argue less these days, so others may notice, oh, you argue less, you complain less, or you recover faster, or you look calmer, you speak more thoughtfully. These are all indications when people say, then, okay, look, I am actually progressing. So spiritual progress is not about getting this Aham Brahmasmi immediately. These are the steps that we have to do before we get there. And why do I say that? Because the 17th point, not everything can be understood immediately. Concepts, Vedanta concepts like mithyā versus satyam, maya versus Brahman. What is maya? What is Brahman? What is Ātma? What is anatma? What is the superimposition means? What is those kind of concepts may not be easy to understand immediately. It will take some time to digest. So it's perfectly fine to keep listening again and again. It's not expected that this class, when it is being taught, I should understand it immediately. It's just like calculus. You don't learn calculus in one sitting, one class. It takes time to understand. It's the same way, Vedanta. So what happens? What happens in that case is, what happens every time we re-listen to the same thing, same lecture, we get something new out of it, and that shows that we are actually growing. So that is one thing. Then 18th, sadhana must fit our lifestyle. Don't try to fight it. I mean, take small steps. Take small steps to do it. Don't try to. You cannot become a sannyasi overnight. But try to do something. Wake up early to start with. Be consistent in it. Do pranayama every day. Do yoga every day. Do puja every day. One sloka every day. Slowly increase it. But be consistent and try to bring it into a routine. So that way, consistency will be more worthwhile, more rewarding than intensity. So sadhanas take step by step. Again, I mean, we have this 20 sadhanas given in chapter 13. We cannot follow all 20 in one go. So pick up one or two. Do that slowly and then move on. Finally, 19th point is, it is not that in this life you have to be, you cannot deal with worldly life and spiritual life at the same time. There is no conflict here. We can be creative, we can be successful without losing spiritual grounding. Just that the purpose has to be a bit higher. When we are, even in the corporate world, for example, you want to get promoted, that's fine. You want to, because you think you have the leadership skills, you can go there. But it shouldn't be at the cost of bringing down someone. It should not be harming someone. Even mentally, you should not harm anybody. The idea is to say, look, I am doing this because I am capable, and it is not, I am doing, and you have to find some higher purpose. The more that we are able to find a higher purpose, selfless purpose, it becomes easy. And that's why the concept of dharma comes in, the concept of swadharma comes in. It becomes, we become, as long as we follow dharma, as long as this is our swadharma, we don't need to feel guilty about it. As long as we are doing things that fit our swabhava without bringing anybody down, we can still be both in the world as well as follow spirituality. Bhagavan never asked Arjuna to drop everything and become a monk. Bhagavan just asked Arjuna to drop his anxiety. Bhagavan asked Arjuna to follow his swadharma. The same way, we need not resign from our corporate world, but whatever we do, we find a higher purpose. We find our swadharma, we do it without, as karma yoga, without bringing our likes and dislikes in it. If we can climb up the corporate ladder, if we have the leadership skills, we can very well go there. But just remember not to do it at the cost of others, not to do it by bringing somebody else down. Or don't do it with the fear or anxiety, because it is not your swabhava. And if you don't have that as a swabhava, when we go up the ladder, we will feel fear. We will feel insecure. Don't do that. Finally, spirituality is not to become popular, not to become unpopular. It is to become a better person. The idea is to become a better family member, a better colleague, a better spouse, a better friend. Because the mind is more balanced. A calm mind. If you have a calm mind, people will come to you more seeking advice. Sometimes you become their agony aunts or agony uncles, whatever, because you are able to be calm, because you are able to listen better, you are able to support better, you are able to love better. That itself is a sadhana. Spirituality is not about getting isolated or getting more popular. Spirituality is about becoming better. These are the points that I wanted to bring up. I don't know whether this kind of resonated with what you had thought or what kind of questions you have, but happy to take any few questions now. If even otherwise, we will continue this session next week, because I've got Ashaji's points as well to discuss, and then we can discuss them. Otherwise, if you have any quick ones, you can actually bring out now.
Okay, shall I
Yes,
go?
Venuji, yes.
Yeah. Actually, firstly, on the outset, I want to say that this has been immensely beneficial to me, this whole exercise, and like the identification of this I with the body and mind, the falsehood of that, the layers that comprise that we think make up me, and all that part of it is all very helpful, and also the falsehood of duality, like and impermanence of duality, like how things change from one to the other, and observing that and the vairagya that flows from it. Those are really some of important life lessons, and the necessity to do the right things, the right attitude, swadharma, like, and what is the right thing to do at a particular point of time, unmindful of the results. That's again the thing. But what really stumps me, actually, where I get kind of stuck, so to say, is like when it comes to this concept of Ātma, so to say. Like, for example, we say Ātma is the substratum on which the whole universe is built, actually. I mean, the universe is a reflection on Ātma. I'm not going into any specific words because my understanding itself is wrong, so I might say it wrongly, but the whole concept, and we say and see Ātman as more like something nirguna. It doesn't really bother what happens. Like, I mean, it doesn't really, it's actionless. It doesn't really control or doing action. It's just a witness kind of a thing that enables it. So my question, or the question that crops up in my mind is, when you have kind of achieved a certain equanimity and a certain, what shall I say, sense of truth by looking at this falsehood of duality, and this I is not my body and mind and such things. What is the real, and we say again, Ātma, Pramāṇa means only śāstra Pramāṇa. We say that śāstra, because we don't have any other Pramāṇa. That's where I tried to put up my hand earlier when I mentioned śāstra Pramāṇa. So I'm saying, like, this one is reminded of every religion coming up with their holy books and say, this is the holy book, you shall just go by it, kind of a thing. Why should we again have our own śāstra Pramāṇa message? Like, when the rest of the things are kind of giving you enough equanimity, enough kind of, what shall I say, truth to live a peaceful, solid life. Why, I won't use the word invent, but just for want of a better word, why invent Ātma? Like, why we have to kind of go into creating something called Ātma? Just why not stop at what you think as I is a creation of mind. It is not the true I and all that kind of thing. It's true. I completely see the point of that. And also the impermanence of life as we see it, the dualities, all that is perfectly I resonate with. So why the need to invent anything beyond that is one question. And the other one, time, just a second. And another quick one I have is, I see some apparent contradictions in Vedanta. Like, for example, we say bhakti is there. You spoke about it as stages, yes, but even within Vedanta, for example, we have Bhajagovindam and also Abhishankara singing beyond on his guru, and at the same time Nirvana Sādhaka, he says like there is no guru, there is no shishya, and he also kind of, even Vedas he kind of negates, like everything negates.
Na vedo na mantro na char. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, isn't that a bit of a contradiction there? Why do we need to? What I am asking is, why can't we stop where it has a direct connect with our life? Just practice up to that. Why do we have to invent anything further down below, such as Ātma or anything further?
Fantastic question. But for lack of time alone, I may have to pick it up next week because it's going to cut. Sure. No problem. Just to summarize your question, right? And you may want to actually put this in the group as well, so nobody forgets it, and we can pick it up in the next class. Basically, what you say is basically, why can't we just stop saying that, okay, what is needed for you to actually lead a happy life, a peaceful life? Yes. And then stop there. Why do we need to actually get into these technicalities of knowing Ātman and getting this jnana, yes, moksha and stuff like that?
Correct.
As long as I'm a good human being, as long as I'm able to lead a successful, happy life, it should be good enough.
No, not just successful.
Not happy life, contented life.
Successful life. No, not even that.
Okay.
Not even that. Those are results. Those are unintended results. What I'm saying is the truth of the truth about the falsehood of duality and the falsehood of the me identified with what. All that is fantastic gold, actually. Gold. That is all. It helps me to perceive, and they actually expose the seeds of conflict. Why I'm having conflict? Because I'm identifying the wrong person, because I have a certain expectation and all that stuff, and the karma yoga is something where I do the right thing without expecting it. All that is golden, complete golden. Then why don't we stop with that? Why do we have to go beyond that and say what there is some Ātman? Or
sure. The short answer would be, because of lack of time, but we'll explain this later. The short answer would be, it will be in a place where when we actually do that, you will not be fully convinced, and I will explain to you why. Okay, when we stop there, the intellect will not allow you to stay there. We will discuss.
The intellect is actually struggling on the other side. Sure.
So, but we will. But the moment the intellect gets there, you will not stay there. Trust me on this one. We'll discuss this next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.